go saying, "You're copying Binky." Hi, I'm Jeff and welcome back to the Shed Quarters. Now, if you saw my last video where I made the big storage trolleys under my chassis table, you may have noticed one particular scene where I was wearing this. Now we can finish this video. So, let's do that. Spoiler. Yes, this is my favourite hoodie. I've had this since 2010 when I was at Muddy in the Pod, a UK car show. Not actually called that. Anyway, the reason I left that in there and many other spoilers over the last couple of months, we're going to build a special lightweight race engine. So, let's get this in the shed and get started. Oh! Whoops. Unfortunately, down the bottom here, somebody has run over something and punched a little hole in the bottom. So I've got to clean up all the aluminium and, well, try and weld it up. So, that should be fun. It might even be a little bit of a hint towards an upcoming project. Anyway, the reason I left that in there and many other spoilers over the last couple of months is because, well, the next project for the channel. Now, I hear you saying, "But Jeff, what about all your other unfinished projects?" Unfinished, unfinished, unfinished. Cubman, unfinished. Well, I've decided I need to finish my unfinished projects, which that is the oldest of all my unfinished projects. So, little backstory on it. I got given it when I was 14 and it was a complete car, like 100% complete. However, when I got it home, I couldn't get the engine to turn over, so I pulled the head. One cylinder was full of water and another was full of rust, showing where the water had been. Now, this was 1997 and, well, that was the start of a full rebuild where I stripped it down to a bare shell, put on a rotisserie and cut out all the rust and repaired it as good as little Jeff could, because at this stage he didn't know anything about welding. That was like 1997 to 2000. Got back to being a solid shell, replaced all the floor pan in the front of the seat boxes and all the boot floor, a few other bits and pieces here and there, and it was a solid shell. But then I got a girlfriend, an apprenticeship, and I moved away from my parents' house where the Mini was being stored. So yeah, not a lot happened to it right up until 2007. So I got the Brumby and learned how much fun all-wheel drive is, and, well, I thought I should do an all-wheel drive swap on the Mini. And, well, I took my tape measure to the wrecking yards, went to all the different wrecking yards, measured up every all-wheel drive I could find. I found that an AE95 Corolla would fit really well with its 4A engine. I like the 4A engines because I was driving a Corolla before the Brumby, and, well, yeah, seemed like a good idea. But I also found that a Nissan Pulsar GTI-R could just be squeezed in. So, after 6 months of hunting for a Pulsar GTI-R that was damaged, I couldn't find one. So a Corolla AE95 with the 20 valve swap popped up on eBay for $1,000 by it now. I think this was 2007, and eBay was where we bought everything back then. So I bought the Corolla, and, well, unfortunately it was owned by an electrical gremlin. Like, I actually met an electrical gremlin. We all hear stories of them, but I met one. I knew he was an electrical gremlin when I found that he had cut every single wire in the loom. Seriously, cut the loom off the ECU, spread it all out, and rolled up every set of wires to every plug on the engine. Yeah, it's a write-off. So, anyway, the day after I bought the Corolla, a Pulsar popped up. So I had to buy that as well. The Corolla still sitting in the backyard now, but so I got the Pulsar home and put it in the shed next to the Mini, and then started stripping the Pulsar, and, well, that's where the build went digital. So I started a thread on 16vminiclub.com there's a link below to my thread, and well, my forum thread is still active because it wasn't affected by the photo bucket apocalypse. So many threads were lost that day. Anyway, check it out on the link. You can see the full rebuild. Check out the dates, because I started this build of putting early 90s World Rally Car driveline into a Mini 5 years before the first episode of Project Binky. So I contacted Bad Obsession Motorsport and asked them if they ever saw my thread when they were planning their Binky build, because I assumed that their build was actually planned, but they said no, hadn't seen that one, to be honest. Good luck with your build. So therefore my build had not influenced them, and I started 5 years before them, so they had not influenced me. So they finished their build. Mine was little more than a rolling shell. It went through a flood and a few other issues. Anyway, we're here now. My plan has totally changed, so I'm going to start again. I'm not starting from scratch, I'm starting from experience. So let's have a quick look at all the parts that I've collected for this build and go from there.
Okay.
So, because we don't want to be seen as copying Project Binky, we're going to get rid of the early 90s World Rally Car all-wheel drive system and going with this. Yes, this little A-series engine. Now, this particular motor is comprised of pieces from about 12 different cars. Each one of them is rusty and ruined, and well, that's the whole point. We're going to rebuild this engine. We're going to still have an all-wheel drive system in the Mini, and well, it's going to be quite interesting because I have a cunning plan. But more on that later. Other components that we have. The following scenes may cause distress to some viewers. I'm sorry, but the Brumpety became a shelf. I know I promised I'd be working on it soon, but yeah, something came up. This! And I needed somewhere dry to store it. So this is the front lower half of a 1960s Mini. I believe from the valence panel it was a disc brake front end, but I don't have any of that, so it doesn't matter. But this will basically replace every sheet metal panel that I cut out of my car. And there was a lot of it. So everything from here forward is what I needed, and I got it for $200. Now when I went to pick that up, the guy had the back half of the same car, which has a good set of side panels, wheel arches. They're all really nice on that side. I got that as well. Then I was at an auction and I got 3 roof skins for like $5 each. Now I don't think I need them, but for $5 each I can't really say no to that. It's better to have them than to not. Now if you saw my bead rolling video, you would have seen this. This is a rough representation of a Mini floor pan, and well, I think it came up rather well for a first attempt, and well, that is the reason I got the bead roller, so that I can make all the panels I need to for this particular build and many others to come. Now the Speedworks bender that I got, that is so that I can build a semi-tube chassis for this. It's not a full tube chassis, it's just reinforcement because mini shells are not overly strong, but it's going to be very well integrated into the body panels themselves. Now that's pretty much it for the parts. Let's go have a look at the shell. Now, as I was saying, this shell, I've had it since I was 14. That's 25 years. I've never actually driven it. When I got it, it had a seized engine. It's got to be some sort of record for ownership of a Mini and never actually driving one. Anyway, it's got a bit of stuff on it, so I've got to clear that off before I can actually show you, but we can lift its skirt a little bit. As you can see, it is still brown. Quite brown. And well, it's missing lots of parts that it should have. And inside it, more storage. So I need to get this cleaned up, and then we can actually see what we're working with. It's not pretty, but it's mine. So much stuff. Where do we start? Alright then. This thing's been covered for like 9 years. And storing lots of junk as well. I'm not gonna lie, it's rough. Alright, although there is a lot of stuff in here, a lot of it is actually for the Mini, like door trims, overriders, more overriders, more overriders, a rough bumper, another bumper with more overriders, a grill, another grill, and basically from these two grills I should be able to make one good grill out of the pair. And that makes 2 more cars for the bits account. Yeah. This is a template that I've made for the floor pans when I originally rebuilt them when I was like 15. And I found it in Dad's shed when I was collecting parts. So, yeah. Handy bit of cardboard though. Yeah. Some of it's not. These are the wheels and forks that go with the chopper frame that's hanging on the wall. It was in the $200 mini bender video where I made the ape hangers. Here's the rest of that chopper. Yeah, lots of parts. Many of them will actually go back into the build. So yeah, this is the main vehicle. The other parts outside, they're replacement panels. So this is Project Bitzer. Alrighty, I'm going to keep emptying this out, putting parts away in storage containers now that I've got them, and well, throwing some more stuff out. Mini Sport catalogue. Well, I've got it empty now apart from what's bolted in and the rat crap in the floor. I found this. I'll see if I can find the digital copy of this, but it's Shed Corgi sitting on the Pulsar engine. Would have been the first time he was in the shed. Well, I'm kind of getting the urge to actually bolt all this back together as a GTIR Pulsar Mini. It's not going to stay together, I'm not going to finish it that way, but I just kind of want to bolt it all back together and have it as a rolling shell again, like this. That was the last time it was a rolling shell. I'm at least going to go get the bonnet and put that on there, so I'm going to come out the back out and have a look at that. My jet boat and the front end of the Mini. This is still tied in here from when I moved to this house like 10 years ago. I'll get this untied, we'll take it in the shed. Alright, bit more weight in there. Bit more weight, that should balance. Okay. No. Back this way a bit and drop. Oh, you like that, don't you, Shed Coggy? Yeah, you like that. You like that, don't you? Alright, so this is the Bitzer. Now, at the moment, it's only made up of 2 cars, which is the original Mini Shell and the GTIR Pulsar dashboard and center console. And well, pretty soon we'll be cutting all that out again, and then it'll be back to just one vehicle. Not much of a Bitzer. However, we are planning on doing a lot of work to this, and just from the components that I've got in the shed at the moment that are going into this, we've got at least 20 different cars have donated parts to this build. So yes, it's definitely the Bitzer. So I got to get this off the table, so I got to put a full timber deck on this table, and then we're going to start by putting the other shell on the table and sticking it back together, because trust me, it's the best way to go forward with this project. But this shell will be getting reattached. This is the main shell, this is the Bitzer, and well, it will always be the Bitzer. It's going to be a big job. We're going to get it running more as a rat rod to start with, but yeah, it should be a lot of fun. The other things I can tell you is that it is definitely having an A-series engine under the bonnet, and I am going to be trying to make it all-wheel drive still. So if you think that sounds like fun, well, hang around, wait for the next video. But that's it for this video. As always, customize everything. What do you think, Shed Coggy? Alright, so you want to do dancing? Cheese! Some more dancing? Bit of chopping, eh? And then, ready to go. Or are you going to come over here and do your dancing? Got to dance your top half so the camera can see. Oh, what's your elbow?
Ow. Okay.
Yeah, that's why it's called an elbow, because it goes ow when you hit it.